Pricing your Airbnb feels like selling a used car. You're convinced it's worth $10,000 after you've washed it, you've sprayed some Febreze. But here's the thing, the buyer shows up, kicks the tires a little bit, and then decides to give you $3,000 plus free lunch. Hi guys, I hope everyone is doing well today. When I started hosting, I thought I was a genius. I looked at my spare room, flexed a little bit, and was like, yeah, this baby is worth $200. Easy. Spoiler alert, nobody agreed. I just sat there refreshing my calendar like a psycho, waiting for bookings that were never gonna come. And then when I finally got bookings, it was because I had panic slashed the prices so low that like I was essentially paying people to stay at those listings. By the time they broke 2 mugs and used up all of the toilet paper, I was negative hosting. So today I'm exposing my experiments, my wins, and my massive fails when it comes to pricing. If you've ever wondered, am I charging too much or too little? Trust me, I've been there and my wallet has the scars that are still visible. This video is gonna be for you because I'm gonna walk through my journey. Unfortunately, when I first started this with my first listing, my strategy, vibes. No research, no data, just vibes. I will get up and just pick a $150 price and tell myself that, oh, this isn't too high, this isn't too low, this is just perfect. People are gonna love it. No, they did not love it. They ignored it. My calendar was like a desert. Tumbleweeds, crickets, nothing. I'll say that the most I'll usually do would be around 60% occupancy when I was lucky, but anything higher than that was just pure luck. That's when I learned that your place is not what you feel like it's worth, it's what the market decides it's worth. And the market doesn't care if you have the best scented candles or your mom thinks that you have great taste in decor. That's when I found AirDNA and Airbnb. These tools are like spies that let you know how much the listings around you charge and how often they get booked, and that's so useful when you think about your pricing strategy. Suddenly I realized that I wasn't competing with luxurious $300 per night villas with infinity pools, but instead I was competing with $60 shared rooms with Netflix and free parking. Honestly, that was like a humbling moment. There are a couple pricing strategies that worked for me. The first one is that I'll set my pricing to be 20% higher than comparables, and then by doing so, I'm able to offer juicy discounts on different length of stays. So then when guests decide to book my place, they'll feel like they're getting like a nice deal, when in fact at the end of the day, I'm actually receiving the rate I've been wanting to get. The second strategy I've applied is the heptagram strategy. Shout out to Sean Rakitic. So the idea is this, is that you don't price every day of the week the same price because demand isn't the same. For example, Saturday and Friday, premium rates, and you might say that like Monday and Wednesday are comparables, so similar rates. But when it comes to like midweek dead Tuesdays, that's when you wanna probably jump in with your lower price. And so this is just an example that had worked for me, but again, this is very dependent on your market. So the closer you are to like low demand, the more you adjust your price downwards. So really, this is about spotting the rhythm in your week instead of deciding to just charge a single base rate the whole week. But at the end of the day, to be able to use these strategies effectively, you're gonna need to know the market averages in your area. Now let's rewind a little bit. After I fixed my guessing game for the prices, I felt smart, especially when I started using data. I was like, okay, now $120 is the price I calculated, $120 in January, $120 in February, $120 in July when it's like super booked. And honestly, that was ridiculous and very silly when I think about it, because at no point should dead January be equivalent to a busy or like a booming July. And so you have to understand that slow season and high season are two different things, and people are more than willing to spend a lot more during high season. Sometimes I would have thought that like, oh, like, you know what? Someone just booked my place within like 30 minutes. Is this normal behavior? Would I have gotten more if I had added like 50 more dollars? See, these are the type of questions that like I would have never gotten the answer to unless I was willing to try more experiments and obviously more failures and stuff like that. Busy periods, for example, Stampede if you're in North America, like Canada, or Dirty December if you're in West Africa, and events and concerts and all these type of like things that bring a lot of tourists to the city. All these periods are the times where you gotta have to like spike your prices because demand is high. And literally like in slow season, if you're maintaining these same prices like all year round, like all you're gonna do is find yourself with an empty calendar and a fridge full of complimentary water bottles because no one is gonna come to your place. Like you don't need to be that stubborn because it's gonna be very painful. Pricing and occupancy are constantly in a tug of war. Too high, you're gonna stay empty and look fancy, but too low, sure, you're fully booked, but you're pretty much running a charity for budget travelers at this point. One time I'd priced my unit low for the whole month just to test demand. I was booked every single night. Yay, right? No. So like when you take out wear and tear, broken stuff, utilities, I'd pretty much probably just made $50. And at this point, I'm just wondering, like, if I was even like a babysitter and I had worked 2 hours, it was gonna be the same thing. So it didn't make any sense. Then another time, I decided, let me be luxury. Super high prices. I believe that time I had used PriceLab. There was some type of glitch in the system, so my listing was priced extremely high. I kept it like that because, you know what, I felt rich. Look, it was literally crickets. There were no bookings, nothing. I was the only one just walking around the listing and feeling good about it, but like no one was booking the place because it was so expensive. I figured out that the trick was to find balance. You need enough occupancy to keep you in business, but high enough prices so that you're not losing money every single booking. And at the end of the day, the priority is total revenue. Pricing your Airbnb is like cooking jollof rice. Too much spice, guests are gonna start crying. Not enough spice, people are gonna say that, oh, it's bland. But one thing for sure is someone is always gonna have something to say about your pricing and you cannot get away from that. Now let's talk about extras. I'm talking about broken things, missing things, and stolen things. I know this one always divides hosts. Some people are like, you know what, you gotta charge people for every single penny. And others are like, you know what, you gotta eat up all these costs as the cost of doing business. But here's my take on this. In reality, I don't think it's black or white, and I don't think it's fair for you to treat a shattered wine glass the same as you would a stolen TV. And honestly, the cost of debating with a guest over a $2 spoon is gonna probably end up costing you more than $2 in the long run. Because that argument in itself might just land you with a 1-star or a 2-star review, so that's not worth it in my opinion. Here's how I look at it. Small stuff like towels, odd fork, I build it into the nightly rate. I'd rather play the long game because I believe that that fork is worth less than future bookings. Now bigger stuff like furniture, electronics, huge appliances, things that obviously not wear and tear, for those things I actually do charge. Because think about it, reviews are worth more than $10 towels, but at the same time you're not trying to run a charity for cereal spoon thieves. It's all about picking your battles. If it's worth debating, then debate, but if you can just overlook it and move on with your day, then do so and just keep on smiling because it's not worth the headache. This one still gets me. Guests who decide to just message you out of the blue, hey, can we get a discount because we're really nice? And back then I fell for this more times than I'll care to admit. Some would just say, we're student, we're broke, we're in town to celebrate our dog's birthday, and please, can you knock off $50? And I was like, okay, sure. Every time, big mistake. Every time a random guest was given a discount, it ended up being a nightmare. They ask for discounts, then early check-in, then the water pressure isn't working properly, then they leave a review like 3 stars, the place was nice, but the host didn't give us oat milk. Now, no discounts unless it's strategic. If I'm releasing a brand new listing and I'm trying to get like my first couple of reviews, I use a discount. Or if it's a slow month and I don't have any bookings because some revenue is better than no revenue at all. But random begging discounts, not a thing anymore. Because you're gonna be like that uncle that always sponsors the parties, and then people come there, they eat, and at the end of the day, they just end up complaining despite how nice you've been to them. So yeah, pricing your rental is not science, it's art. Messy art, abstract art, where sometimes you yourself, you don't even know what's going on. But if you take the data seriously and decide to adjust to the season and not just dash out discounts to everyone that just screams that they're special at you, I think you're gonna end up doing quite well. Question for you now, what has been the biggest pricing mistake you've made or you've seen someone make? Drop in the comments below. Maybe we might turn this into a horror series of pricing fails in the future. And if this video gave you at least one laugh or gave you a bit more insight when it comes to pricing, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like. And guys, this is it. This is it for this video, and thank you for watching, and yeah, see you guys next time.